South Africa of weaponizing the G20 presidency, saying that South Africa had undermined the founding principles, so the principles that were based on consensus. They also said that Donald Trump would restore the legitimacy of the G20 when the US takes over the presidency next year. And what is not clear, though, at this stage is whether or not the US will decide to bar South Africa from next year's events because of what has taken place in Johannesburg over the last few days. But certainly unhappiness here in Washington as a result of all of this.
If the US were to bar South Africa from participating in the summit going forward under the US presidency, would that constitute, or would it happen under the order of a sanction?
Well, potentially, yes. I mean, it would be a very strong diplomatic message being sent by Washington to Pretoria if it were to go ahead with that. I mean, it would seem that it would be unthinkable in normal years. But of course, this year has not been a normal year. The very fact that the US decided to not just not send a leader in the form of Donald Trump, but not send any delegation at all, that really threw the summit into problems right from the start. But I think what we have seen is a success of multilateralism, the fact that the other G20 countries were able to come together, despite the boycott from the US, despite the boycott as well from Argentina not sending its president. And I think as a result, we have seen the G20 overcome those problems, show that multilateralism is still alive, and in many ways do something that many world leaders have not wanted to do in recent months, and that's stand up to Donald Trump. There was that united front in Pretoria, even though it has sparked more anger here in Washington.
Importantly here is that Keir Starmer, as well as Emmanuel Macron and potentially even Canada, are considered, I mean, Canada to a lesser extent, are considered strong allies of Donald Trump. Of course, we've seen Keir Starmer visit the White House, and we've seen Donald Trump visit Windsor Castle, and of course had that bilateral engagement with Keir Starmer, and of course representative of the House of Lords. And we've seen many engagements in the last 12 months, in the last 9 months actually, more specifically, between Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump. And these are his allies, but these are two gentlemen who threw their weight and support behind President Cyril Ramaphosa. Has the US and the White House responded to that?
They haven't directly responded leader by leader, but it is interesting, as you mentioned, Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, Keir Starmer in particular, being seen as a strong ally of the US president, something that he's tried to do really to create himself as a leader that is indispensable to the US leader, in particular when it